Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be working with some other selection tools that are available in Photopea. And remember, the reason why there are so many different selection tools is because there are so many different types of images you work with. And one might work well with one image, but maybe not so well in another. So it's good to have multiple tools in your arsenal. We're going to start off with the quick selection tool. And just like the name implies, it quickly selects things. It is located underneath the lasso tool in this set where the magic wand is located. So you can click and hold, you'll see that it's the second one in the set. You can hit W twice, it will also activate it. It looks like a brush with a little selection attached, and that's exactly the case. This quick selection tool is the only selection tool that's like a brush. So if you click up here on your options bar, you're going to see you have this diameter or the size of the brush, as well as how hard the brush is. You also have the option to create a new selection, add to selection, and subtract, just like our other selection tools. Now, when you use this tool, just like in anything, you want to zoom in to get your details. I want to select like this circle where the ox is. And with this, there's two ways of changing the size of your brush. I can manually kind of scroll through here. I like to use my brackets. So my left bracket will make my brush much smaller. My right bracket, as you see on the screen, will make my brush very large. When you work with a tool like this, you want to work with smaller brushes just so that you have a little bit more control. If you make your brush too big, you're going to find that when you click down, it selects too many things at once for you, as opposed to a smaller brush allows you a little bit more flexibility as you work. Now with this tool, you basically paint your selection. So you click and you hold and you drag over the things you want selected. So I don't know if you can see, but I think it did a pretty good job. I can see that it missed one section here next to the ox, this little blue section. So I just want to make sure that if I'm going to paint some more, that this button right here where it says plus, it's unite, that means it's going to add to my selection. So I'm going to quickly drag my mouse over this section and make sure it's added all the pieces. Now that I have this, I can easily edit, copy, edit, paste, and now I have this little ox button on its own layer. It was a very quick selection, hence the name. The other selection tool we're going to work with today is called the Object Selection tool, and it's located with the Quick Selection. It's the first one here. This tool is very unique to Photopea. It does not exist in Photoshop, FYI. And the Object Selection tool does exactly what the name implies. It tries to find an object in your selection and selects it for you. Now, when you use this tool, it's almost as if you make a box around something, and you make sure you position the little crosshairs right in the center of your object. And then Photopea tries to figure out where the edges of that object are. Now, this is really good for bigger blocks of things. I would not recommend it for small detail things because it's really hard to get those crosshairs over this section. But let's say, for example, in this image, I just wanted the top of the lantern, not the little string parts. I can kind of click, drag, and make a box. And when I do that, you see those little crosshairs there. That's what's going to be the middle of my selection. So if I release my mouse, Photopea does a pretty good job of figuring out that that's the object I want based on color and edges. So those are two quick, easy selection tools to add to your arsenal. But I want to give you one more tip today, okay? We're going to work with this confetti layer. Now this confetti layer is on a clear background, and you know something's clear in Photopea when it's gray and white boxes in the back. Now let's say I wanted to select this to make a color change just to this layer. The problem is there's so many little pieces of confetti, I would be here a really long time trying to select this. But there's a trick to select something in a layer if it's by itself. The key word to this, that it has to be alone on a layer. For example, this confetti doesn't have a white background, okay? It's by itself, so then I can use this trick. And the trick is to hold down Command on your keyboard and click on the layer thumbnail. Now the layer thumbnail is the picture of the layer in your layers panel. So you see how it says the word confetti and then it has a square next to it? That's the thumbnail, the square. So if I hold Command and click on this, I don't know if you can see, I'm going to zoom in. It selected the entire layer and I didn't have to do anything but hold Command. So now I can make any edits I want to the layer. So I can change the color if I wanted to. And it took all of 30 seconds. Okay? And those are the tricks we're going to kind of work with today in an activity. So for our activity today, you've been given a few tasks. We're going to start off by downloading this file. It is a PSD. You're going to open it in Photopea. Then you're going to change this guy right down here, this blue one that says hue change in the layers panel. Obviously, it does not match everything else. And we're sticking with the Chinese New Year theme. And so we want this Chinese New Year frame to kind of match with the rest of this theme. So we're going to use a trick that I just taught you by holding down Command and clicking on the thumbnail of the layer. Again, the thumbnail is the picture. So if I click and do that, this has been selected. Then I want to change this color. So I'm going to go up to Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation. And I want to change this so that it matches the theme of everything else, which is red. That looks a little bit more like it belongs to the scene. Once I'm done, I press OK. I want to deselect, so I can hit Control D or Command D. And then really, most of our other work is on our second layer here that says Elements. All of these elements are on one layer, other than the one we just fixed. And your job is to pull out at least 10 elements and arrange them in the background for a Chinese New Year layout. You should use the Object Selection tool or the Quick Selection. Let's say you start using the Quick Selection tool and it's too sensitive, try the Object Selection, or swap between both of them until you get comfortable. You're going to make sure you copy each selection onto its own layer. That way, let's say I have the rice, I've selected it, I copy and paste, the rice will be by itself. Once you're done making your 10 selections, you're going to open up this last layers panel that says Background Options. When I open this up, I have two options here. So I'm going to hide this just so you can see. This is my first option, and this is my second. I can choose either one. You want to arrange all your 10 elements on this space down here so it looks like a table setting. It should really look like it belongs. If you happen to finish early, you can research some additional Chinese New Year themed images to bring into the scene. We're going to ask for a few check for understandings and a few progress check-ins throughout your work today. So please make sure you're working actively, you're saving often, and you're being patient with your selections. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Good luck.